Hi guys, it's Mary McIntyre. In this video I'm going to be making some potion bottle specimen jars. Now I've done potion bottles twice before on my channel, so if you haven't seen those videos I will put the cards up here somewhere during this one. This one's going to be a little bit different than the others because they're jars rather than bottles. I think previously I primarily made things with bottles. These are various sized jars. I put a call out on our village free cycle for empty jars and the village came through. I have loads. This is a small section of what I've washed and mostly got the labels scrubbed off of. What do they stick these labels on with? I was scrubbing with a scourer, primarily got the labels off. But what I'm going to do with these is slightly different than last time. I'm not going to spray them. I'm going to leave them clear, but I'm going to distress them and age them. And the way that Live It Like Lisa did in one of her videos from a couple of years back. I've already made some labels and I'll insert how I did that in a second. But what I'm also going to do is, based on what the label says, I'm going to put something inside the jars that you can see. So that's something I haven't done before. First thing I'm going to do is sand these. Now I've chosen these that have lids that fit quite well, so if I do put something inside then it's not going to fall out. I'm not worried about what the lids look like, so I'm going to cover those either with burlap or with brown paper or something like that. So the lids are going to be covered. But I want to age the glass. I'm going to use some heavy grit sandpaper to kind of scuff it a little bit, make it look a bit milky and frosted. So yeah, once I've kind of got the outside scuffed and frosted, I'm going to add some diluted black acrylic paint. The sandpaper will help that stick a little bit better, and then kind of wipe the excess off just so it looks sort of aged and dusty and a little bit murky. I still want to be able to see into the jar and see what I've actually put into them. And, oh, the other thing that I've kept as well, lots of these little, I made some hot glue and some resin badges using some Halloween molds that I got a couple of years ago. You'll have seen those in my previous potion bottle videos if you watched them. Probably my spell books video as well. So just using the silicone mold, I've done some of these with hot glue, and then once I started to get into epoxy resin and chameleon powders, I've kind of experimented, and I have one that I made using polymer clay, and I still suck at polymer clay, so this is a bit wonky. So today I topped it off with a little bit of UV resin to try and give it a little bit more stability, and just thinking about hanging that maybe around the neck of one of the bottles. First job, sand them down, make them a bit dirty and like get the paint on them, and then that can be drying while I kind of think about what I'm gonna actually put in them. So let's get started. So I've got some just budget acrylic paint that I got from the works, so it's black, and I've watered it down so that it's really watery. I've got it on a sponge, and I did a test one, so I rubbed it all over with the sponge and then wiped it over with some kitchen towel, and the acrylic paint kind of sticks to where the sanding is and it gives it a slightly frosted appearance. So you can still see in it, but it looks like old grey sort of coloured glass. So I'm going to do the same with these. I'm just going to dab my sponge into that mixture. I've diluted it some more since I did that one because I felt it needed to be even more watery. So it kind of goes on fairly thick. But I am going to wipe most of it back off again. It could do with being even more diluted actually. So grab the kitchen roll straight away and just kind of wipe gently, not rub it all off, but wipe most of it off, and it will stick in certain places and just make it look dirty. And if you want to go in with a bit more, you can do. I haven't done this before. It's a really effective way of aging glass. perfect. So if I put that side by side, you can see that the one that I get a jar of a similar size, you can kind of see that one now has that sort of darker, dusty appearance. I am going to water this paint down even more, I think, just it's going on quite pigmented. If you need to go in twice and wipe off twice, that's absolutely fine. I'm going to leave that to dry down and then I will stick the labels on. So I've just printed out some labels. I googled printable apothecary jar labels, free to use. So I've got a selection here. I wet them all with a wet tea bag. Then I have sprinkled a bit of coffee granules, a little bit of turmeric and a bit of cocoa powder over them, and just kind of spread stuff out and mashed it in and just tried to make them look really old and dirty. So if they dry like that, I'll be super happy. A cat here that approves. Witch's cat. Hey sausage. Cocoa bean. Cocoa bean. What is it? Is it food? Is it food? It's not dinner time for another hour. It's not. How dare you? So the labels are dry and cut out. Once I have chosen which of these is going to go best on the jar, then I'm going to set about pulling all the stuff together that might go in them. Apply some glue to the back of this first. So this is just washable PVA glue with a bit of water mixed into it to essentially turn it into Mod Podge. So I didn't want to put too much water in because, as I said, these powders are going to make a hot mess, I think. So if I can get the glue on top of here without it making a mess, it might seal it somewhat. That has not rehydrated as bad as I thought it was going to, so I think that looks good. It certainly looks old. It looks old and absolutely filthy. I'm so impressed by how that first step has made these jars look. Speed this bit up, you don't need to watch me stick labels on in real time. What I've done is I've cut kind of vague squares of paper that fit the lids on these jars, and I've just cut the corners off. I'm not looking for like super accuracy here. I want them to look rustic. But what I'm going to do is glue this bit onto the actual lid so I can screw and unscrew it if necessary. Using my PVA glue, just slap that onto the lid and then stick the paper down. So I'm going to tie the paper around the neck of this once the stuff is in it. For now, all I'm looking for is getting the paper stuck to just the jar lid. Make sure that you don't accidentally stick the paper to the glass because we need to be able to open this and get stuff in. So it's just going to be a boring job, which I don't need to film all of, but basically you get the idea here. I'm just gluing the paper down. So the first one I've got is pickled bat wings, so that's fairly self-explanatory. I have a bag of plastic bats here. I am going to fold the wings a little bit and just pop those in. I'm not going to cut the wings off, I'm just going to leave them as they are. Just drop those in. So I'll leave one there to put on the lid. So there we have bats, pickled bat wings. I'm going to tie these up together in one go, so I'll just pop that to the back for now. Next up, do some dust. So I have crushed skull dust, I've got decomposed mummy powder, and another crushed skull dust. I didn't realise I'd done 2 of those. So that's mummy powder, we've got 2 skulls, and we've got full moon dust as well. So what I've got here is some flour, so it's rye flour. So if I mix a few different ingredients in with the rye flour, sorry, then it will give slightly different vibes. So for the mummy, I kind of picture mummy dust as being quite grey. So I'm going to add a little bit of mica powder here. So this flour can be a base for a couple of these. So I've chosen rye flour firstly because we've got a load of it that's expired and it doesn't make very nice bread, but the colour of it is just perfect for this. So I've got that in there. I'm going to add a little bit of mica and mix it in. I'm going to start just with the grey because I know the black is quite pigmented, so I'm going to tip a bit of that in, kind of mix that together. Perfect. So that's the mummy dust. This flower's pretty bone coloured as is, so it might be alright just like that for the crushed skulls. For the full moon, I'm going to put some of it in, and then I'm going to add something that's going to brighten it a little bit, and I'm going to put some glitter in there. I think some sparkle would look fantastic in there. I've got some silver white mica, which I'm going to put a little bit of that in. With this really fine glitter rather than chunky stuff. There's got a bit of a sparkle. So there's our moon dust. Full moon dust. Skulls, that should be good to go as is. Okay, that's that. Here is scale of snake. What I've done is got some snakes that I had left over from Halloween projects last year. They were kind of gaudy colours, so I've muted them down with a little bit of black acrylic paint, and I'm just going to pop those in the jar. Snakes in there. So the next one I'm going to do is dried crow's feet. I don't have anything that currently looks like bird's feet, but what I do have are these pipe cleaners. So I'm going to see if I can kind of fashion some sort of talons with it. I've got no idea if this is going to look right or stupid or what, I'm not quite sure. you may have seen the video I made last year where I did a nebula potion bottle, and I'm going to use, you probably didn't because nobody watched it, but last year I put out a video showing you how to make a nebula potion bottle. And what you do is add paint or food colouring and water and cotton wool, and the cotton wool kind of gives this sort of nebula appearance, and this is dragon breath, so I'm thinking if you could capture fire and smoke in a bottle, what would it look like? So that's my intention for this. So getting the cotton wool kind of broken up a little bit. So I'm going to push some of this cotton wool in now. Yellow bits of glitter, and it kind of has that nebulous feel to it because of the cotton wool, so that will change over time as the colours start to spread out. Arsenic is colourless, I believe arsenic is colourless, but I want to go for some green vibes here, so I'm going to put some probably in water, bit of green glitter. Have several shades of green. This is dark green, so I'm going to put a scoop of that in. I want it to be quite dark. So I don't know how this is going to mix up. I have literally no idea. So we have a green slurry. I have some beading thread, so this thread is thicker than cotton, so I'm basically just going to cut pieces of it up. Could do with some thicker stuff, but I can't find my black crochet thread, but I think if there's lots of these cut up into here, it'll look right. Right, the last one, the label's gone very fuzzy, and so all you can see is the spider on it. I don't think it's a tarantula fur is what it actually says, but that doesn't matter. I don't think that will quite fit in, but I have loads of these other plastic spiders and they're slightly horrifying and make me feel quite sick, so I'm just going to stick those in and then forget all about it. What freaks me out about fake spiders, like, I appreciate how amazing spiders are, but I am just terrified of them, and just no, I just can't. And when I have a bag of spiders, literally is what this is, it's an entire bag full of spiders, I don't know if there's a real one in there, I just wouldn't know, I can't see them, and that really spins me out. Right, so that's all of the fillings done, so all that's left to do is just finish them off. So I've got some string here, I'm using like jute, twine, or just normal garden string, stuff like that. I'm not using anything fancy. I want these to look rustic, so I'm deliberately not going with anything like colourful. Final flourish, a bit of watered down brown and black paint on the sponge, and kind of dry brushing everywhere that would catch if you pick this up with dirty hands, the edges, top of the folds, bit of the string as well, get that dirty. So just going to do that on all of these. Final step on these 5 jars, I'm going to glue something onto the lid or onto the front to just correspond to whatever is on the label. So this is the bat wings one, so I'm going to put 1 bat on the top there. That will dry milky, so I don't need to do anything with that, and that will look like spider webs. So they're finished. I'm going to leave them overnight for everything to completely dry. I've really enjoyed doing this, just kind of finding things to put in them that correspond to the labels is something I've not done before, and it was really good fun. So tomorrow I'll bring you in to see them up close properly. So here they are finished. I'm so happy with these. I think they look so cool. Yeah, I'm just really happy with them. These just look old and dusty, and I really, even though you can't really see what's in these easily, it just, the fact that you know there's stuff in there, it's really awesome. You can see the cat whiskers through the glass if you're looking. I've got my crushed skull dust there. You see my dragon breath, which is all multicoloured. I found another moon badge which I stuck on the lid of this one, so that's got some sparkle in it. The spiders, yeah, wouldn't be enough said about that. I'm actually really happy with the crow's feet, the way that they turned out, for just using some pipe cleaners. So yeah, the snake's in there, and we've got our arsenic bottle in there, and the bat wings. So I think they're so nice. I'm really happy with them. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Kind of strands on this one to make it look like it's got cobwebs around it. It all just pulls everything together into a particular theme, and I just think that they look really nice. So yeah, thanks for watching guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.